Thank you. There's nothing sweeter than this. I love it. What is the vibrational essence of the energy of sexuality? Is it a stream of consciousness, like the stream of consciousness of Source? Is it a separate stream, or a stream within the stream of the consciousness of Source? Please talk to me about one's own relationship to one's own sexuality, leaving a partner out of the equation. Please talk about my relationship with my inner being, bringing sexuality into the equation. When I am loving myself, aligned with Source, isn't there a sexual energy within the loving? I am not able to separate sexuality out of the experience of loving. It's my experience that sexuality is a part of all relationship, whether with a rock, cloud, animal, baby, partner, myself, or Source.
Well, you've answered your own question within your question, and often we say that sexuality and spirituality, or sexuality and Source, are one and the same. And certainly in the way you are describing it, we would say that. But we also want to say that you can take the subject of sexuality just like you could take any subject, and you can talk about it from the framework of being in alignment with Source or in resistance to Source. It applies to all things. And so there is sexuality in alignment, and there is sexuality out of alignment. Now, we're going to take this, because of what you are asking and because of the depth of your vibration about it, to a place that we have not been before. And we want to talk about this you that was you before you even came forth into this physical experience. And you hear us say that you are non-physical energy and that you projected a part of yourself into this physical body. And there was a tremendous amount of intentionality from that perspective. And part of the intention was the continuation of that which you be, and in other words, the continuation of the species. All of those intentions that have to do with continuing and surviving are energy that is projected from non-physical. So then you are here in your physical body and you are living life and expressing yourself. And so that continuum continues. And then the new energies that are born from that vantage point of that which you have come to. In other words, the future generations will benefit from what you all are flowing now. So the reason that we've backed up in that way to start explaining it from a more basic place is because we want you to realize that there was much already in your what you will manifest in this physical time-space reality vibrational escrow, even before you got here into your physical body, as was intended before from the non-physical vantage point. So, as you've been listening to us here today talk about hearing the call of Source and coming toward it, the reason that you can't separate sexuality from that kind of alignment is because it can't be separated. It's all part of the same thing. Now, people do all kinds of things with that stream of energy that is calling, that makes it not feel like it could feel. And that's that resistance or fighting to go upstream that we've been talking about. And that's why we say you can take any subject, sexuality or any other subject, and you can split your energy about it. But when you are in alignment with who you are, in other words, tuned in, tapped in, turned on, and you are focused upon any subject, like the subject of sexuality, there is an experience that is sublime as a result of that. Everything is sensual or sexual in the sense that you are a physical being that is translating everything through vibration. So we think the reason that you are speaking as poignantly and poetically as you are about the subject of sexuality is because when one is in alignment with Source and then devouring the deliciousness of this physical life, interpreting this physical life through your interpreters called eyes and interpreters called ears and nose and sensors of all kinds. As you are interpreting the vibration of this time-space reality through your connection with Source, it is delicious. And your words, that is the most beautiful description of the sexual you that we've ever heard anyone speak. It is the way you feel as non-physical energy. Of course, sexuality means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. But we would acknowledge when two people come together and are both in alignment with source energy, and then they share the intimacy of what you, in your physical terms, call sexuality. There is not anything more expressive or expansive or good feeling than that either. Just like any masterminding or any coming together with like-minded beings. In other words, we talk all day, every day about you coming into alignment with you. And when you come into alignment with you, that is ecstasy. But when you come into alignment with you and then you co-create with another who is also in alignment, it is just a co-creation, and the alignment is just enhanced that much more, you see. We think the reason that you're talking about wanting to know about the sexuality that does not include another, we think what you're talking about mostly, in other words, you could take the word sexuality out of it, although we are not asking you to, and just talk about alignment, just talk about closing the gap, just talk about being the expressive person who came from non-physical, who has lived life here, who has launched many rockets of desires on many subjects and has come into alignment. Many people, especially when they first begin meditation, find a sexual feeling about it, a feeling of alignment and well-being. And sometimes it bothers them because they want spirituality and sexuality to be different things, and we don't see how spirituality and alignment with Source should be separate from anything that you are. We want you to be the non-physical energy that you are while you live this life experience. So when you participate in anything in this physical body while you are in alignment with Source, everything is better. You see more clearly, you hear more clearly, everything is interpreted clearly. Food tastes better, things that touch your skin feel better. Everything inside and outside just feels better when you let every cell of your being be in alignment with the energy from which you come. Yes.
Not too long ago, I had an experience with a man, and on my part, it was not very satisfying. And so a few weeks later, I had opportunity to be with him again, and I was debating whether or not to be with him in a sexual way. And then I decided that I was going to have some fun. And I did. And then the next day, I realized that it had nothing to do with him, that I had created my own fun, and that he was perhaps no more than just a prop in my movie. And so my question is, am I my own beloved, and is Source my lover?
Well, your reaching for alignment certainly is your connection with that which you call love. And we can see how you could come to that conclusion after the fact. But we want to say to you, if you had come to that conclusion before the fact or during, you would not have had the joyful experience that you had. In other words, you can't regard a co-creative partner as only a prop and be in alignment with who you are. In other words, it is your appreciation of self and your appreciation of the other that makes for alignment. And so we suppose it would be possible to be in such complete appreciation of self that you are utterly ignoring the other, and as long as you're not pushing against the other and therefore causing yourself to come out of alignment, you still could have a wonderful experience. But we do not want to give the impression that we want you to come into this physical experience and have need to exclude others and only think about alignment, although you hear us say over and over again, tend to this alignment first. In other words, the alignment between who you are being in your physical body in any moment and your alignment with your source energy, that is paramount. And if you are tending to that first and foremost, and then from that place of alignment, giving your attention to others, now you are having co-creation at its best. And we promise you, if you had wanted the singular experience where it's just you and your inner being, you would have entered a dimension where you would have been the only one around. And you did not do that, and with good reason.
So what is it in my vibration that has led me to want this clarity and understanding and knowing about sexuality and to,
Well, here it is a subject of co-creation is really what it is. And as you are interacting on your own, many of you discover that when you learn about the laws of the universe, when you learn about law of attraction, when you learn about this energy stream, when you learn about the call of source, when you learn about the relationship of your emotions and the indicators that they are about your alignment, and when you figure out how to find thoughts that cause you to go with the flow rather than push against the current, you can get very good at having joyful experiences. We've been talking about how as you learn to close this gap and come into vibrational alignment with who you are, that then your life experience is certainly enhanced. But the true satisfaction of life experience is to come into alignment and then co-create with others. And so while you certainly can have any experience, it is easier, really, to come into alignment by withdrawing from others. Because there is a tendency when you start co-creating with others, especially the larger your sphere of others becomes, to find more and more things about them that aren't a vibrational match to who you think you are or what you think you want. So there is less tendency to push against or to flow upstream if there are fewer people around you. So what we're saying is it's easier to come into alignment with Source when you are withdrawing from the things that might take you out of alignment. But once you've shown yourself how easy it is under any and all condition to come into alignment with Source, then you can have the glorious experience of getting out there and mixing it up with others and letting the co-creation with others help you and them add to the vibrational escrow, which is what the expansion of the universe is all about. Jerry had a recent experience where he read in a book that was given to him the idea that when you see something that is offensive to you or something that is upsetting to you, don't just pull away from it. Instead, make peace with it in a sense. And we said to him, we've been talking about that for a while, haven't we? Because if you see something that is bothersome and you just look away from it, you leave the vibration right where it was. You don't do anything about bridging it. And while you could look at many other things and cause better feeling things to be the dominant activation within your vibration, still, that's active in your vibration. It's right where you last left it. And when it comes up again, you're going to recoil again, and you're going to recoil again, and you're going to recoil again. Our encouragement is to get out there and mix it up with others, mix it up with ideas. Don't be afraid or guarded to get out there where you might see something that you might not like. Instead, let yourself see it, but when you see it, understand that everything has more sides to it than just the one that you're seeing. And as you look at it, whatever it is, it might be a crippled child, it might be someone that is misbehaving, it might even be someone who is lying to you or deceiving you or treating you wrong in some way. Look at it, but don't fight against the current. Instead, ask yourself, how would my inner being approach this subject? How is my inner being seeing this? What aspect of you does my inner being see? And as you start to look at it in that way, what happens is you begin to let that broader part of you find the positive aspects in whatever you are looking at, because everything has what is wanted and lack of it within it. And as you find what is wanted, you come back into alignment while you are still having this experience. And now you're having a broader experience of alignment rather than a narrow experience of alignment. Aligning with who you are and then co-creating with others is the very best. And when you reach the place that you don't need to demand of them that they be in alignment when you play with them, because you are, now you've got it. That's what the art of allowing is. Allowing them whether they allow me or not. Because then the whole world is your oyster. Now, protectionism isn't an issue for you. Now you don't have to run and hide from anything. Now you are in alignment with you, so your point of attraction is stable, so the universe cannot yield to you anything other than that which is the best for you. And now you are free to go anywhere that you want to go without guardedness, because law of attraction does not bring to you that which you are not, you see. And your world is expansive and broad. Oh, the best description of law of allowing ever.
That was very satisfying. Thank you.